it's John here, and welcome to episode 12 of Java Programming. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to make arrays. To start off with, we're going to make a new class, and I'm just going to call this arrays. Public static void main string args. Now, we have been indirectly using arrays for every episode. When you actually make this public static void main string and then args, this square bracket here means that args is an array of strings. So to start off with, I'm going to get a new scanner object. Console is equal to new scanner system.in, and then I'm going to import this. Then we need to ask the user for an amount of numbers he or she wishes to enter. So we also need a variable to store this in. So we want to say int max numbers is equal to console.nextInt. Now, an array can only store a certain amount of numbers in it, and that number is integer.maxValue. If we print this out so it gets rid of the error, so we can actually see what the value is. I don't know that off the top of my head, but it is a rather large number. A integer can store a maximum value of 2 to the power of 31 minus 1. So that's 0x7ffffff, which is a pretty large number. It's like 3, 6, so that's 2 trillion. Wait, 2 trillion? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so 2 trillion. That's a really, really large amount of variables. Probably most variables you try to store, if you try to store 2 trillion of them, your PC would probably run out of system memory and then crash. So probably it's best practice not to store that many variables at once. Okay, so we have our max numbers. We actually want to ask the user for what the maximum numbers is first, so the user knows what's happening. So you want to say system.out.print please enter number of numbers to enter. So now our user knows what to do. So we have this max numbers. Now, how do we actually make an array? Well, an array is basically a list of objects or basic types like integer or double, etc. So let's make a list of numbers. So a list of ints, and we're going to call this numbers list, and we're going to say this is equal to 0. That's how we would normally make an integer, but we want this to be lots of numbers. We want this to be a list of numbers, not just the value 0. So there are two ways of doing this. There's the not standardized way, which is to put the square brackets at the end. Now these square brackets here basically means that this is an array. It's best practice not to put this square brackets here. It will work if you put it here, but it's best practice to actually put the square brackets after the declarant type, which is int in this instance. Okay, So now a list of ints cannot equal 0 because it's a list, not a number. So an array needs to know how big this list is. We can't just put numbers in it and hope that it works, because it won't. So we want to say new, and then we want to say int, and then we want to have square brackets again and a semicolon. Now inside this new int we need to give it a value. Now the value is the maximum number of variables this numbers list can store. So if we say 0, then this number list can store no values, which is kind of redundant because it's useless. But if we was to say in here max numbers, and we got a number from the user which is 10, so max numbers is 10, so we say new int max numbers in the square brackets. So this numbers list can now store 10 integers. Okay, so how do we actually add numbers to this numbers list? Well, we can't just do this. Number list is equal to 0 because this is an array, not an integer. So we're trying to set a list of numbers to the value of 0. It's not going to work. So what we can do is we say numbers list, and then we put a square bracket and a close square bracket, and inside this square bracket we give it the value from 0 to the maximum number. Now if this max number is 10, arrays always start from the index of 0. They do not start from 1 like normal human beings do. If I ask you to count up to 10, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc, etc. When a computer does this for an array, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't actually go to 10. So from 0 to 9 is equal to 10 numbers, whereas 1 to 10 is also 10 numbers. So it's exactly the same, it's just that you have to start from 0 when programming. And this is the same for most cases in programming too. So we want to first set the first element of numbers list equal to console.nextInt. And we also, before we want to do this, we're going to say system.out.println, just print actually, and then we say please enter a number to add up. Okay, now we could do this. Let's just make this a bit more readable. And get rid of this here. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. Now we can do it like that, but obviously, let's say this max numbers here was 1,000,000. You're not going to type this out 1,000,000 times because the code is just going to be way too big, and the actual file size of the program is just going to be ridiculously huge as well. So what we can do is we can delete this here and that, and then we can say before the system.out.print for int I is equal to 0, I is less than max numbers, and then I plus plus, and then we want to surround these by a curly brace. So whatever's done in here will be done from 0 to max number times. So we want to say over here number list. Then we want to put here I, and then we want to say this is equal to 0, equal to console.nextInt. Now, why have we put I here? Well, I is an integer, and we know that this stores a list, and to access each element in the list, we have to use an integer. So, this is going to iterate from 0 to max numbers. For example, if this is 10, it's going to iterate 10 times 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we know that numbers list starts from 0 and ends at 9. So this is going to increment by 1 every time, so it's going to print out our 10 elements. I've actually spelled that wrong, I forgot about a capital L there. So we'll change that to fix the error. So if we press play now, actually let's make it so that the user knows what's happened at the end of this. So we want to do another for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than. Now there is another way of doing this. If you don't know this max numbers to start off with, you can actually say numbers list dot, and then you say dot length, and then colon I++. So this is going to get the actual size of the list, so you don't have to worry about actually storing this max numbers here. Or if you're creating arrays dynamically and you don't know what the number is at the point in time. Okay, so now we want to say we want to create a new variable outside of this for loop. Int total is equal to 0, and then we just want to say total is plus equals to numbers list, and in square brackets I. So we're accessing I element, which starts off with 0 and finishes at 9. And then finally we want to say system.out.println the total of the array numbers list is, and then we need to say system.out.println, and then we want to say array dot and there's an actual out here somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, we can just say numbers list and see what happens. So enter number of numbers to enter. I'm going to say 5 to start off with. So to start off with, this is going to be 0 and it's going to go up to 4. So please enter a number to add up. 5, 15, 20, 20. So this is going to equal to 80. So the total of the array number list is, and we've actually asked to show the list of numbers here, and it's saying I at 4e blah 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 blah. Now this is the actual location in memory this is stored at, so that's wrong. We don't want that. So what we can say is put another for loop for number list.length, and I just say system.out.println. We want to start off with numbers list I plus, and then in 66 and 99 a comma and a space. Now this will put an extra comma at the end where it's not needed, but we don't need to worry about that. Okay, and Then we're going to finally system.out.println total colon plus total. Okay, if we press play now, and please enter the number of numbers to enter. 5. We'll add up 5, 15, 20, 20, and another 20. So we can say that the total of the array number list is 5 plus 15 plus 20 plus 20 plus another 20 is equal to 80. Okay, thank you for watching. Please like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.